All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Crunchtime. We had a little bit of a hiatus due to spring break, and we had to cancel a show, unfortunately. But yeah, we are back in action. I am not Reese Britt. Unfortunately, he's doing Division I athlete things today, so he will not be joining us today. But I do have my man on the right, Dylan Walt, and then making his debut for the season is Mr. Trey Whiteowl.
Yeah.
Trey, glad to have you on. Normally you're in the back.
Normally I'm in the back.
Cooking.
Yeah.
Cooking, exactly. Cooking from the back, but you get to cook from the front this week. Guys, we got a lot to talk about, but obviously we had spring break. So I want to get you guys spring break. I mean, how did it go? Dylan, we'll start with you. How'd it go for you?
Man, I chilled. Handled some adult things, got everything aligned and prepared for graduation in
Good.
8 weeks, man. So trying to get the ball not get it rolling, but keep it rolling. You don't ever want to stop, not around this time. So a lot of adulting over the break.
Yep. And then Trey, you're about to graduate as well. I think you did some stuff as well to get your cap and gown and all that stuff.
Yeah, I went to get my cap and gown, I believe, on Monday or Tuesday, and then over the break it was just nothing much. I got sick and ended up having to basically stay in bed for the most part. But
Boo.
Boo.
Yeah,
Boo is right.
At least I went to go help some games over at Lipscomb. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean,
and the basketball game here.
yeah, no, absolutely. We'll talk about that later. A little thing about mine, I kind of got mine a week early. I went to Vegas for a bachelor party that my buddy had, so me and another guy went with him, and that was fun. I did lose money.
It's Vegas.
It's Vegas. It's going to take money from you one way or another, but I had a great time. And then spring break, I did mostly schoolwork and work, so it wasn't really much of a break, but I got to go to Vegas, so that was kind of my spring break. But yeah, let's get started, guys. We got a lot to talk about. A lot of good stuff to talk about. Let's talk about the men's as this weekend. They did fall in the ASUN final in the tournament to the now ASUN champion, the Stetson Hatters, which I didn't know that was their mascot, was the Hatters. But they did lose to them 94-91, ending their 4-game win streak. Jalen Blackman for Stetson, boy,
He went off that second half.
My Lord.
34 points in that second half.
he did his best Steph Curry impersonation. He had 43 points, going 12 of 22 from the field. From deep, he was 5 for 9. And then he went 14 of 17 from free throw range. He was the eighth best percentile player from free throw range. So that's not the guy you want to send to the line,
Not at all.
let alone 17 times. He made 14 of them.
Was it like 90, 92% almost, 88?
Yeah, he
like
was
92, 93% on
Yeah,
the year.
that's what he was for the year, and boy, he definitely showed out. And then Aubin Gadarisi, I believe is how you say his name. He was their big man. He came up clutch. He scored 13 points, but he made 11 of them from free throw, which they said he was about a 60% shooter from free throw, but 11 15, that's a pretty good percentage for a big man.
That was...
Yeah. We'll talk about that. Stetson lit it up from three-point range as they went 10 of 19 from the field from three-point range, and then the big number was 32 of 42 from free throw range, sending them to the March Madness tournament for the first time in program history. So, listen, congratulations to Stetson University.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. It's cool this time of year. It seems like every year there's always a team like that has never been in the tournament. And every year there's always that one team that's like, hey, we made it for the first time. And so congratulations to Stetson. That's obviously a big accomplishment for their program. Congratulations to their players and coach. It stinks that it has to be at the expense of us, but, I mean, what a game. I know both of you watched the last little bit like I did, and golly, I mean, what a game.
I watched a majority of that second half.
That majority of that second half was crazy.
Absolutely. On the OSP side, Cywit, double-double, 28 points, 10 boards, big day for him. Desi Jones, 17 points, 11 assists, and 7 boards, so he was just shy of a triple-double. But the big number for Austin Peay is they struggled from three-point range, only going 5 of 20 from the field, so a crisp 25%, I believe, is the right percentage on that.
Yep.
And then, but they did go nearly perfect from free throw range, 24 or 27. So both sides were shooting a lot of free throws, not just Stetson. Both sides went to the foul line a lot, especially in the last few minutes. But APSU will miss the big dance. But, guys, they ended up with a near 20-win season, winning record both in overall and conference, and runner-up in the ASUN tournament. I mean, guys, what were your thoughts on this game? And really just the season overall. I want to hear you guys talk. I'm tired of talking.
I honestly, at one point when it was 54-47 for Austin Peay, I genuinely thought, okay, they might end up they might end up doing this. Granted, there was 13 minutes left in the game, but it just seemed like at that point they had all the control in the world. All they had to do is make sure Mr. Blackman did not go off as much as he did, and unfortunately, Stetson kind of realized that we had no answers. So they just kept saying, let's give the ball to him, and if he doesn't score, oh well. We'll just give it to him the next time I'm up and
try again.
Yeah,
Try again.
Just try again and keep on trying. And what the most unfortunate thing, too, is that I think for the most part, Austin Peay actually played much better than I thought they would. The thing that pushed them back, though, is the fact that they only went, like you said, 5 of 20 from 3.
Yeah, Jamonte went 3 of 10, and then DeMarcus Sharp didn't even attempt one.
No, didn't even attempt one. The most anyone tried after Black is Haney and Jones, and they only made one.
Yeah.
As a whole, it seemed like if they could just make a 3, then they could have probably made it, but they unfortunately couldn't. Stetson, and we're going to get into the free throw a bit later, but I actually did like what they tried to do from the what they tried to force Stetson to do from the free throw line.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of understood that, but it just comes back to the fact that Julius Blackman, that's his name. Yeah. There was no answer. There was nothing Austin Peay could do against him.
No, I mean, Jalen Blackman was on fire. I mean, it wasn't like he was just shooting layups either. I mean, he was
pulling.
He was pulling up from dang near
pulling.
midcourt. I mean, he was no matter. But it's like you said, they were just running. They're running their off, and he is the highest scoring player in the A-Sun. So I mean, it's fitting that of all people, he would be the one to go off.
Yeah. But they got a duo though. They got a nice duo. Him and Swanson, top premier guards. I mean, I watched them. Was the game before with Jacksonville, and Stetson went off for 35. I'm not Stetson. Swanson. He went off for 35. So I mean, you had to pick your poison. Who's gonna let get off? Well, somebody was bound to get off. I'd rather one get off and the other one have a bad game than two have pretty decent games, because then it probably would have been 20-point L. So I mean, you had to pick your poison. But it's the size. I think because what Blackman's 6'5", 6'6" on a good day. That's what you look like. You know, I don't know what's his official height. I don't know.
Who, Jalen Blackman? No,
Yeah.
I think he's a short fellow. Let me look at him. I think he's not that big. He's a guard. I mean, he's not.
6'3", so he's 6'3".
Yeah, he's not.
So
he's not huge.
But when you got other 6'2", 6'3" guards guarding him, it's mano a mano at that point. And when you hot, I mean, he was cooking too. He was he got to the lane, mid range. He was pulling from deep, like he was cooking. So we just didn't have the right amount of size on him, either length or height or girth, whatever it may have been. We just didn't have it, and he got off. And I know we're gonna go about the last 4 minutes of the game, so I ain't gonna jump the gun. All I'm gonna say is that it was just we just fell short. I'm not gonna put it on anything. We just fell short, and it was tough. I mean, you could nitpick coaching a little bit. I mean, because it was questionable at the end, but I mean, we just fell short. We couldn't make open threes. I think we missed a free throw within the last 2 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. I think Desi may have missed one or
maybe.
Sharp.
I know Jalen Blackman he missed one, which that kind of opened it up at the end.
Yeah, so you know it was a tough game, but I mean we had two overtime games within this stretch. A tough game at home. You can't ask for nothing better, honestly. In the first season of a new regime, you can't ask for nothing better. Yeah,
I mean, we talked about, there's inconsistency, and I think a size is kind of what we always have alluded to, because, I mean, Say Witt was playing the 5, for pretty much the entire game.
He's 6'7"?
He's 6'8", which if he's 6'8" on the roster, he's probably like 6'7", 6'6" in actual form. But, yeah, I mean, it's, they're a smaller team. And, listen, I think I agree with you 100%. I don't think there's really one thing to point at. The 3-point percentage for this game is probably where you would look at us because we're normally a very, very good 3-point shooting team. Jamonte Black, one of our better players.
Yeah, one of the best shooters in NCAA.
History.
Yeah.
Not just Austin Peay history, not even ASUN, just history.
Yeah.
He went 3 of 10. He did not have a great night, only had 11 points,
And 30% ain't just
terrible, but for him, that's below.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Below what his standard is. And so, listen, I mean, it's not on one person. It's not on the just one coach. It's just
we just fell short.
we just fell a little bit short. Now, you alluded the last 4 minutes. They were, and Trey mentioned it as well. They were trying to foul, trying to keep Blackman from scoring. But you got to give, especially Gattarisi. He's the guy that kept sending to the line. For a big man that only shoots about 60-ish% from the free throw range, you got to give him credit. He went 11 of 15. He did what
he was supposed to do.
Exactly. Bro. If he doesn't hit half those, then we could be talking about a completely different scenario. But he hits 11, 15, which I don't know what the percentage is. I imagine that's at least like in the 75.
About 80, low 80s.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But I mean, now we're going into it. So
it's about 73%.
73. So that ain't bad. So
no,
for somebody who shoots right at 60%, that's all you asking for, especially from your big too. But I mean, 4 minutes to go in a 4 or 5 point game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just a little. I think he pulled out that card just maybe like 90 seconds too early.
Yeah.
Just because Blackman, I think at that point, I started watching with about 8 minutes to go. So I got all the notifications. He was going on fire from right beginning, was like 16-minute mark from basically on almost the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
He had slowed down with about 6-7 minutes to go. So at that point, you kind of play the odds now. Let's see how much fire he can hold on. And I felt like at that point his flame was out. So ride it out, and because now you got to face half court defense, and they defense was legit.
Yeah.
That big what's say it again?
Gattarisi.
Auburn Gattarisi.
Yeah, he ain't letting nothing in the paint for real. He ain't letting nothing.
They had 2 like really big guys, and I can't remember the other fella's name, but he was a 3-point shooter. He was a big fella.
Yeah, he could stretch. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they had not only size, but they could stretch the floor. But I mean, it's like you said. There's maybe some questionable coaching, but it's
you can live.
Yeah, you can. I can live with the result. I mean, listen, I think the guys played a great game. Literally it came down to a last-second shot that was really close to going in.
And it was a good look.
It was close to going in. But listen, great season from Coach Gibson. You mentioned it, Trey. I mean, first year, we had some ups, had some downs, but able to make it all the way to the final of the ASUN tournament in his first year. Recruiting now is the name of the game. Try to get some big men in there to try to beef up the down court. I think, and obviously we have it on here, with the COVID years stuff, we don't know everybody's eligibility situation, but, Say Witt's potentially out, DeMarcus Sharp, Jamonte Black, Desi Jones, they're all graduate students.
Oh.
But, again, we don't know the eligibility with the COVID years, so hopefully we can at least get most of those guys back. But, that's a lot of talent that could at least potentially be out the door.
No offense to the homie Sharp, but, I think he can go somewhere else and flourish.
Yeah.
He has the skill set, but I think our team just needs a different dynamic of a guard. Just a different. Everyone scores. I think he would benefit around other pieces than other scorers.
Maybe he's not the facilitator.
Yeah,
he's the facilitatee.
Right.
Yeah, we need a different facilitator. That's all.
Yeah.
Now, if he was to come off the bench or something, I think he'll be fantastic.
Well, he came off the bench.
Yeah, this game.
For this game.
But like the majority of the season, he was a starter.
Right.
Yeah.
But he had 16 points off the bench, which
and that helped us a lot.
Oh yeah, when you have that kind of scoring guy off the bench, that's usually positive. But as a graduate student, I'm sure he's not.
Yeah, it's probably
the most happy coming off the bench. But it's all about your role.
Yeah.
All right, so before we move on to the women's, follow us on social media. We have Twitter and Twitter, a.k.a. X, and Instagram. Reese is usually the man behind the trigger with that, so go check them out. We post about every day or every other day on both.
He made a video the other night.
He did, and he's killer on the social medias. So, but he's doing his thing in Division I right now. They are playing Grand Canyon State University, I believe, is who they're playing against.
Yes.
That's in Phoenix, right?
Yes.
Arizona.
Arizona.
Rather.
So shout out to Reese. Hopefully we do well. I think they finished up. They may have finished up today. I'm not 100% sure. We'd have to research that. Trey, if you don't mind, could you research and see what they've done today or if they're done? But we're going to move on to women's basketball. As last night they fell in the semifinals to Florida Gulf Coast by a score of, let's see. Oh, I didn't have the score on here. Can we throw up the graphic for the score? I did not write the score.
It was 74-52.
74-52. Thank you very much. That is bad on my part. But yep, there's the score, 74-52. The Lady Govs got crushed from three-point range, going only 1 for 4, as the Eagles went 11 of 29. So they just got crushed from three-point range. Shamari Hale led the team with 20 points and 8 boards. Lanaya Foster also added 9 points and 5 boards as well. The Eagles will now advance to the ASUN final to take on UCA for the conference title, and a look to stay undefeated within the conference. They have not lost a conference game all year, so they will look to stay undefeated to go to the big dance in March Madness. So for the Lady Govs, they will finish up 17-16 overall with an 8-8 in the conference. And I wanted to talk about this. Obviously, we can talk about the game, but there's really not that much to talk about. I mean, they just got crushed.
No, they did.
Well,
they
they got crushed in the second half. The first half, they actually did keep up with them almost the entire time, but unfortunately the second half came around and they realized, hey, as long as we stop Hale,
it's over.
Then we got to force them to basically do something else outside of it.
Yeah, I mean,
and they just kept hitting threes. That's nothing else you can really do or say about it. Just they got absolutely crushed in that.
Yeah, I mean, Shamari Hale had 20 points. She was the only Gov to have double figures. Like I said, Lanaya Foster had 9. I believe there's one more player of ours to have 8 points. But, I mean, it just, and we've said it all year. They can't make a three-point shot. And in this day and age in college basketball, you got to at least be able to hit consistently from three-point range, both.
Oh, I got it.
Both men's and women's. So,
I mean, but they played. Okay, not against Florida Gulf, but throughout the tournament, they played pretty well. Beat Kennesaw.
Yep.
Was it North? I get North Alabama and with North Florida, whatever. Either one of those teams. I don't know.
One of the Norths.
Yeah, one of them. They played them, beat them. They played a really good end of the season. They just fell to the number 1 team in the conference.
They beat Eastern Kentucky, lost to go from North Florida, who they lost 52-50 against. Actually, I can go even further back to Kennesaw State.
Yeah.
They went win against Kennesaw State, beat Queens, lost to North Florida, beat Jacksonville, Lipscomb, and Central Arkansas.
Central Arkansas, that's what it was.
Then lost to North Alabama, beat Eastern Kentucky, lost to Bellarmine, then beat Kennesaw State and Stetson.
Yeah.
Before ultimately losing to FGCU.
Yeah, and one of my homeboys is the GA for the women's team in Kennesaw, so no, I was talking my trash.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, we lost to a team that lost 4 games all year, and they haven't lost a conference game yet.
That's what I'm saying. They're winning. Everyone knows that they're winning.
You still got to play the game. And what's crazy is, I mean, if they lose, more than likely they will not go to the tournament.
Yeah.
With 1 conference loss and 5 losses overall, they would have.
But I don't think they're. I don't.
No, I mean the ASUN's not going to put 2 teams in the big dance.
Yeah.
You'll get the automatic qualifier and that's it. But still, that would be crazy.
They're going to win. Florida
more than likely,
they're going to win. Their team is built to win.
No doubt. Especially, I mean, like I said, I keep hating to beat a dead horse, but I mean, if you can make the 3-point shot in any form of basketball, you have a chance. And we saw that for the men's. I mean, there were games that, listen, when they were hot, they probably won some games they probably shouldn't have won because they can make 3-point shots. But we're so congested offensively, it's got to go through the inside and Shamari Hale, and if it doesn't, we're probably not gonna win.
She's so talented, bro.
She is.
I just wish she was. I don't know why. I know she's out of shape, but I don't know if it's due to injury or condition or wherever it may be. She's out of shape, bro. I wish she was in shape. So I hope there's nothing that I don't know floating around or something.
Well, she's also playing like almost every minute.
No,
every night.
Yeah, but I was watching one of the broadcasts or something. One of the people, they were saying, hell, she can only play up to 25. She was like, because she's just out of shape. Mm-hmm. So I was hoping to find an injury or something because I know we need her. every minute that we can get her, she's going to be on the court. And she stays in foul trouble, and she's a beast. She's a beast, man. Like, I love watching her.
But you got to get her some outside shooting to help. 'Cause, I mean, you can't go 1 of 4 from 3-point range and expect to win a whole lot of games.
And I want to say Foster went 3 of 17, 15.
Foster went 3 of 15 with one missed 3-pointer in 30 minutes.
Yeah, you're probably not gonna win many games going. I mean, listen, I get it. You know, not everyone's gonna shoot Steph Curry like numbers every night, but it's just
something
consistently they're just bad from 3-point range. So I think they know what they're gonna go with at recruiting. Brittany Young, again, we kind of talked about it, not kind of where we wanted to be this season, but still
not bad.
Had a winning record overall, went 500 in the conference, had a strong finish to the season, made it to the semifinal.
At least this is a game where you can say, like, we can't be really upset about because it was against the number 1 team who haven't lost a conference game in well over a year.
Yeah.
So it was obvious. Oh, let me rephrase that. It was more than likely going to be Austin Peay losing the game.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that was what ended up happening.
Yep. It was a true David and Goliath situation, but listen, still a good season, winning record, and I think they know where they need to go in recruiting. But I'm excited for next year. Yeah. I mean, again,
both teams.
I think the basketball program is very well legit for both men's and women's. I think we got the right coaches for both. I think men's has a lot of talent, just small improvements, and I think women have a lot of talent. Just small improvements. Just find a couple people that can shoot the 3 ball. I think we'll be okay.
So an update on the golf deal. Austin Peay, he is in 12th right now. They are hitting at a +10. And then
does it say what Reese is currently doing?
Yes. Right now the highest person for Austin Peay is Seth Smith, who's tied at 27. And I think he's broken even or at a +2. And then Reese is 48 at a +3.
Okay. How many people teams? Do you know? Do it say?
I'm not sure.
That's fine.
Let me see. I think it might be 5 to 7. Not entirely sure.
All right.
But
well,
I can check.
Hopefully Reese is gonna improve a little bit. But
lock in towards the end.
Lock in a little bit, Reese.
It looks like a team of 5.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see what he does.
We got faith.
Reese is the guy. All right, so for the remainder of the time, we are going to talk about men's baseball, which, I mean, hey, men's baseball,
on
dude.
A roll.
On a roll, man. Listen, so they are
coming this past week.
Until this past week, they kind of hit a little bit of a wall. But to be fair, they've
been hot, bro.
They've been playing a lot of really good talent. They are coming off a loss last night to WKU, 12-9.
Oh, they lost?
Yeah, they lost last night at WKU.
I was supposed to go to that.
Yeah, they were up 8. They were up 8-9 in the top of the 8th, and then they ended up hitting a 3-run homer. There was and I believe after they gave up like a walk and a hit, someone hit it to the right side, went right past the second baseman and into right field, allowed another run, and they just could not do anything afterwards.
Yeah, that's tough. That's fine.
But hey,
can't
listen,
win them all.
No, I can't win them all. Listen, they've got an 11-5 record so far in non-conference play. They've beaten Auburn once, Mississippi State twice, as we were taking a look at the standings. They are technically now second behind Stetson in the ASUN standings, but again, we haven't really seen any conference play yet. But yeah, I mean, give all the credit to the baseball team so far. I mean, they've played extremely well. Again, beating Mississippi State twice, beating Auburn once. Now the other night they got clobbered by Auburn. It was like 24-5.
Yeah.
But it was rough.
24-5.
Right
after they beat them 15-6. So.
Right. Yeah. So Auburn kind of.
Then we lost. I think we lost the first one by like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
It was 6-7.
Yeah, it was really close. So I mean, listen, they're playing extremely well so far. They're going into conference play this Friday against Lipscomb, who Lipscomb is struggling right now. But they've usually been a pretty solid baseball program for the most part, but they're kind of going through the slumps right now. But again, you never want to overlook an opponent. But they will travel to Lipscomb, so they'll drive right down the road to Nashville on Friday to start off ASUN play. And then their next home game is back here on the 19th. It will be Tuesday against their old OVC rival in SEMO. So, guys, I'm really excited about baseball. I mean, the bats seem to be alive. Pitching is kind of the area of concern because every at least most of the losses and even some of the wins. I mean, we were giving up 6+ runs.
Yeah.
But that's kind of college baseball and overall now. Like, it's just with the pitch clock, it's just the pitches have
too
to
fast.
They have to go so fast. They have to make a decision and go. They really can't sit on a pitch and think, okay, this is what I'm going to do. It's got to be, hey, I've got the ball in my hand, and I'm just going to sling it and hope that I have somewhat of a rhythm, you know. But it's still, I mean, 11-5 to start non-conference record, which, hey, shout out to Coach Fanning for following our role players Twitter. Shout out to him. Hopefully he follows the Instagram too. But shout out to him for supporting the show. Thank you, Coach Lanning. But Coach Fanning, I should say. I mispronounced it. But yeah, so shout out to the baseball again. Go see him if you're in Nashville on Friday against Lipscomb. They start the 3-game series against Lipscomb, and then they come right back here on Tuesday the 19th to start their home ASUN, or at least not the ASUN. I keep forgetting we're in the conference realignment. I keep wanting to say SEMO's in the conference, but they're not.
No, they're not.
But hey, they come back the 19th. Let's beat the crap out of SEMO.
Let's go 4-0.
Let's go
4-0 in this week stretch.
Yeah, let's go. Let's just go undefeated the rest of the season. Why don't we?
Right, come on.
I was gonna say something earlier. With the game against Western Kentucky, it was very weird because Lyle Miller Green, who is the starter in that game, he's actually been pretty good for the season. The previous 3 outings, he gave up 5 earned runs, and that looks pretty good. Then this outing against Western Kentucky, he just ran into some type of wall.
Yeah.
Gave up 7, and just
gave up.
Just if his ERA actually ballooned from 3.14 to 2.70 all the way up to 5.89.
Yikes!
Just
that's
not a good game.
That's baseball now.
Yeah.
It's very easy to give up a 10. It's now you'll see 10+ runs game very consistently.
Yes.
You know,
I was watching Wake Forest and Georgetown last week. It was 12-8 all of a sudden, and they still had 2 innings to go.
Yeah, that's what happens with the pitch clock. Everything's got to go fast, so pitchers got to make a decision and go. But guys, before we get out of here, a little shout out to Austin Peay, as we have now added women's lacrosse to our repertoire. We've added hockey, which is, I don't believe it's part of our athletics department.
No.
It's just a
club,
but we've added hockey somewhat. And now we've added women's lacrosse, which is part of our athletics department for sure.
I can't wait for that.
That's going to be awesome.
I can't wait.
That's going to be awesome. I'm excited. I think I'm going to really want to go watch that because, I mean, lacrosse is a very exciting sport. It's like hockey and soccer had a baby.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I can't wait for opening day.
Oh, it's going to be exciting. But we'll have to wait a little bit long because they do not.
A couple of years.
Yeah, they will not start play for the spring of 2026. Obviously, you got to hire a head coach. You know, you got to. I think they said we'll have max. You can have a max roster of 20. And then you have 12 scholarship players is what the numbers are.
That ain't bad.
While roster sizes vary at the NCAA Division I level, on average, 30 student athletes comprise a women's lacrosse team, while ASUN teams average 35 student athletes per roster.
With 12 scholarships. So you'll probably have to have the 12 and go 24 scholarships with about 10 or so walk-ons. So, but I'm excited. I think it's going to be really exciting. But that's going to get us out of here. Guys, again, really appreciate you guys being on the show today. Huge shout-out to Paige Hearn, as she's running the show back there, and she's with Steve Sawyer back there running the show. Big shout-out to Paige. Big shout-out to Doc V for allowing us to use this beautiful studio. Big shout-out to David Ellison for really helping us out with the show. Again, Steve Sawyer, big shout-out to him because, again, he just makes everything run. And thanks to you guys. But that's going to do us for Crunch Time. We should be back next week, barring anything crazy. I know we had a 3-week hiatus, so we apologize to all of our viewers for that. But we should be back next week. And, that'll be it, guys. We'll see you guys next week.